Welcome back, beautiful tri-state area. You're listening to A Moment of Zen right here on 710 WOR, the voice of New York, iHeartRadio. I'm your host, Zen Sams. Welcome to another exciting edition of the Hydration with Heart segment, brought to you by Once Upon a Coconut in collaboration with Charlie Rocket's Dream Machine Foundation. Today we have two incredible guests who are no strangers to the high stakes of competition and the drama that comes with it. First, we have Ryan Enk, who's the dynamic CEO of Servio Capital and the charismatic host of Cabin Wars. Ryan has flipped over 1,000 properties, and with his sharp eye and quick wit, he's the perfect guide through the intense world of cabin renovations. Joining him is Jared Emerick. He's a seasoned real estate investor, master marketer, and entrepreneur. Jared recently launched Acquire Marketing, which is a game changer for blue-collar businesses. Both of these men know what it takes to thrive under pressure, and today they're here to give us an inside look at the drama, the challenges, and triumphs behind Cabin Wars. Welcome, Ryan and Jared. Welcome, superstars.
Thank you so much.
Sam.
Yeah, thanks for having us.
So excited to have you on. Now, with over 1,000 flips under your belt, Ryan, you've probably seen it all, hidden treasures, maybe even a ghost or two. But the reality of flipping houses is that the unexpected is well expected. And moreover, over 60% of home renovators encounter surprises that are constantly throwing a wrench into their plans. What's the craziest thing you've encountered during a cabin renovation?
Well, so the show is 3 contestants that are renovating a cabin each, and they each have $20,000 budget and only 30 days to do it. And I've encountered a lot of surprises during cabin renovation or any renovation of any property. I think that the most shocking thing that happened on this reality show was we found a baby bottle in the ceiling of all places. So I'm not sure how it got there, but that was, there's always something to surprise you on a flip.
Jesus, baby bottle. Okay,
Yeah.
I can't imagine. Let the imagination run wild on that one.
It did.
Now, switching gears a bit, let's talk about the world of marketing, especially for blue-collar businesses. So, Jared, with so many small businesses struggling to stand out, the right marketing strategy can be a game changer. 70% of small businesses do face significant marketing challenges. Now, when we speak of surprises, your expertise is helping these blue-collar businesses stand out, and it's all about finding that unique story. And to my understanding, the contestants only have a $20,000 budget, as Ryan just said. So how was that a challenge when you're trying to win with the best flips?
Yeah, it was incredibly challenging. We talk about what was harder, the time or the money. And, the money was very challenging. We had to get super creative, whether that was asking for free materials from places in exchange for maybe a shout out or a t-shirt we wore on the show, or whether it was dumpster diving. And I, in particular, ran into a budget issue very early on in which I had to pivot our plans very quickly. So yeah, the $20,000, it only added up to about, I think it was like $30-ish a square foot, which anybody in the home improvement world knows that is not a lot of money to have to do really anything. So we had to get really creative and make it look really nice as well.
Wow, I can't wait to see these results. Now, Ryan, one of the things that make Cabin Wars so exciting is the diverse mix of contestants. So different backgrounds, different skills, and sometimes wildly different personalities. And when we look at research with respect to reality TV, 80% of viewers are drawn in by the dynamics between contestants. So with that in mind, how do these different personalities and experiences fuel the drama and excitement we see on the show? And what were the competition dynamics like on the lake season with Jared?
Yeah, it was exciting to see the different skill sets that people had. And when we were in casting, we kind of cast contestants based on those skill sets. So we typically had an underdog. You had somebody that had a lot of flips under their belt, and maybe somebody that was kind of a novice. In Jared's season, it was interesting because you had this group that was the House of Sharb. It was 3 moms, and they all had a really good design skill set, and one had really good flipping experience. And then you had ENG, that was the cabin next to Jared's, and they were custom home builders. So they were used to building high-end stuff, and to see them working within a budget was really cool. And then you had Jared. All those other contestants were more local, and Jared was coming in from Ohio. So even though he had a lot of flipping experience, he was kind of the underdog in that season because you have to come to a brand new place with no resources. You don't know, like typically, when you're flipping houses, like you got your carpenter that you can call, your plumber, your electrician. And it was really neat to see how resourceful that he got in that season, just trying to figure out his network and figure out where to source materials. And so that was a really cool dynamic in their season.
That's so interesting. And I'm assuming there's a roadmap for these cabins that are being renovated. After you've built this incredible and renovated it, what happens to the cabin next?
Oh, so the cabins are in this RV resort. So my company, Servio Capital, we bought this RV resort, and the cabins were these old, ugly, beat up, cabins from the 70s. They looked like they were all painted like this big bird yellow. It was disgusting.
Oof.
And they hadn't been renovated since the 70s. They definitely needed some TLC. Mm-hmm. And so after the cabins were renovated, we opened them up for people to stay in the park.
Bingo, roadmap.
Yep.
Yeah.
That's the roadmap. That's what I was getting to. So you guys have a very well thought out plan in multiple respects. Now, Jared, in a way, your work with the blue collar businesses involves a similar mix of personalities and challenges. Mm-hmm. What were some of the most dramatic competitive moments?
This is such a wonderful question. Off camera, there was certainly drama within all the contestants. This wasn't exclusive to me where, in a sense where I was the out of towner, it was exclusive where my business at home in Ohio was still running, but then I had to, put all my focus into being in Louisiana at the campground, focusing there. But the other two contestants, they had some disadvantages as well where their kids were still in school. They had sports going on. We kind of took our kids and just unplugged. And we're just totally focused on the cabin in the show, where the other contestants had to maintain their lives while working to get the cabin done. So that was an enormous challenge.
Yeah, if I could add to that, Jared,
Mm-hmm.
there was also there's some shenanigans that went on during the competition. People pranking each other. I think somebody put some old furniture on somebody else's roof, and time is money. And then some people, I guess the House of Sharp, they found there was someone had taken a dump in the middle of their kitchen, and they don't know if it was dog or human or who did it. And there were some accusations being thrown around, so those added to the.
Things got smelly.
Yeah. Oh man, that's a dad pun.
Yeah, we missed that opportunity, Ryan.
Yeah, I missed that opportunity for the
filming.
the dad joke.
Now, Ryan, on the intense. We'll shift back to you and the intense pressure of the 30-day renovation challenge. So I want to talk about that. And more importantly, for those listening, did you know that about 9 out of 10 renovators feel overwhelmed by deadlines? So deadlines and time constraints are extremely important. And I can only imagine the stress when the clock is ticking and something goes wrong. So can you share one of the most nerve-wracking moments you've witnessed when everything seemed to be falling apart?
Yeah. So, it wasn't like what you might see on other reality show flipping where, they say they're going to get it done in a certain amount of time. Maybe they say 30 days, but it's really 90 TV days or 120 or take a half a year, whatever it is. That 30 days was real. We had sent out this massive campaign for the people who used to go to the park. There's about 90,000 past customers that we had emails and social media and everything. And we invited them to this open house on day 30. So every one of the contestants knew that in day 30, if they weren't done, not only would it be embarrassing, but, there was reputations at stake, and obviously they wanted to win. There was money at stake for the winner. And so the 30 days really was a big stress for a lot of the contestants. In 2 of the seasons, there was contestants that were putting on roofs the day of the open house. There's contestants that were up till 4 a.m. the night before putting finishing touches on. So the clock winding down got pretty intense towards the end, and the stress you see on camera is real stress.
I can only imagine. Wow. Can't wait to see it. You're building up such suspense for me.
Yeah.
This goes beyond renovating cabins. Now, let's chat motivation. So was the prize money always the motivation for the contestants, or did things evolve and did the priorities shift?
What I noticed is we had 5 seasons altogether. Each had 3 competitors, and I noticed in all the seasons, in about week 3, everybody is so tired, everybody is so emotional. and money's running out, time's running out, that money stops being the factor of motivation for a lot of them. So a lot of the contestants had to dig down deep and find a deeper motivation and a deeper why as to why they wanted to win and why they wanted to carry on with that. Give you an example, in one of the seasons was a loft season, and there was this disgusting cabin. I was as the host, I was wondering who I was going to screw with this cabin because it was so ugly. It just looked very, very bad.
No.
And I ended up picking this guy, Nathan, and Nathan, when he went and saw the cabin, of course, he's like, man, this is, you really screwed me. And so when they were going around the outside of the cabin, they saw this little, someone had etched in the dirt on the window, Jake was here. He has a son named Jacob that has an inflammatory disease. It was a very hard time in their life trying to figure out what this disease was. And he's got a video from 4 years ago where they go to this cabin in the woods, and he says, and Jacob loved this loft. And he said, Jacob, you like this cabin and this loft in this cabin? And Jacob's like, I love it. And he said, one of these days I'm going to build your own cabin in the woods. And this is the only cabin in all of Cabin Wars that was in the woods that had a loft, and it had etched in the window, Jake was here. So different contestants finding that motivation, and for the rest of the time when he was renovating this cabin, he kept in mind his family and his son, and he ended up naming it after his son and called it Jacob's Journey.
Oh, that's such a beautiful story. I love it when emotion is evoked in such an organic way, and reality TV is exactly that. There's organic moments that you can only capture in reality TV, so it makes it so much better when families are sharing these moments to say, look, at the heart of it all was, delivering a wish, right? Now, Jared, many of your clients operate on tight budgets, making it essential to get the most out of every marketing dollar. And interestingly, businesses that spend less than even 5% of their budget on marketing can still see significant growth if they invest wisely. Now, with many of your clients who operate on these tight budgets, much like the contestants on Cabin Wars, what strategies do you suggest for making a big impact without breaking the bank?
I mean, with the power of social media now, telling your own personal story, you don't have to spend any money. And the reason why we started Acquire Marketing is to teach people how to become the powerhouse in their niche, in their area, by sharing their story. Why do they do what they do? And that goes back to the show where we had to gather votes to win, utilizing social media and all the outlets that we had. So it was, you'll see it in the show how we knew what we had to do, and we called on our hometowns. As you know, I called on my hometown, and the other contestants called on their circles of influence. And we had one contestant who he was from South Dakota, and he went to his mayor in South Dakota and got him to promote it, and that was cool. And I got in the paper in Akron, Ohio, and in Canton, and a lot of different people were using different methods, but none of that cost hardly any money, if it costs anything at all. And blue collar businesses can do that same thing and become the influential person in their industry and naturally build their authority and their brand doing that.
If I could just kind of coattail off of that, I think Robert Kiyosaki said that most people are one skill away from, amazing success, whether a plumber or a carpenter or a house flipper. And that was a real strong suit with Jared, is that not only was he a good house flipper, but he was a good marketer, and that ended up helping him with votes at the end.
It's extremely important. Now, Ryan, playing into what you're saying, viewers play a crucial role in Cabin Wars by voting for the winner. How does this audience participation add to all this tension and excitement of the competition?
Well, I think it was intense for the contestants. They had to, a lot of them didn't come with a social media presence. One of the contestants, for example, he was mentioning Mike Ray in South Dakota. He had almost no social media presence. And towards the end, contestants were doing everything to get votes. They had all worked tirelessly for 30 days, a lot of them lacking sleep. And after that 30 days was over, they had 7 days for people to go to the website to get votes for their cabin flip. And there was people that voted on site as well during the open house. And so there was people walking around. It was during Mardi Gras, so there's people walking around with QR codes just for people, in the street to take pictures of it and to vote for them. A lot of these people with these last ditch marketing efforts, I mean, some of these season winners were decided by less than 30 votes.
Wow.
And so out of over 26,000 votes that were cast. So it was it did play a big part in the intensity of the show towards the end.
That's so exciting. This is you're making me want to tune in right now. Jared, this is the last question. You're not just a business mogul, you are a family man. You balance work and family, and that's a challenge, of course. 75% of entrepreneurs, in fact, struggle with that particular challenge. So how do you do it? And more importantly, balancing the successful business with family is something that it's like one wrong move and then it all crumbles.
Yeah.
So what's the secret sauce?
Well, being on the crumbling quite a bit of times, I'm learning from experience here where I heard a mentor told me one time, balance of work and life in the entrepreneurial world is a lie. That your expectations have to be set with your spouse and with your family. And that's where I have seen the most success is, like during the show, I was gone from 7 a.m. to 7 p.m., 8 p.m., 11. But I had Sunday mornings, and my kids who are used to seeing me at home often or working from the office or just working from the laptop, I saw them on Saturday nights and they would say, "Oh, tomorrow's Sunday morning, we get daddy." And, that was a real eye opener. Of course, my wife, Ashley, knew the expectations at that time, and she really stepped up to the plate. And it was just awesome to see her step into to a lot of roles, playing mom and dad there.
Big shout out to Ashley.
That's right.
And Cal.
And so the work-life balance tends to be a lie, but set expectations and communicate, and that will solve 99% of your issues.
Amazing. Well, we are at the end of our online date. Can you tell us how we could tune into Cabin Wars?
Yeah, so it's going to be on Amazon Prime. It's going to be on YouTube, and we also have it airing on a Discovery affiliate called Destination America. That's going to be on October the 2nd, Wednesday at prime time. I think we're still figuring out the exact. It's either 8 o'clock or 8:30 Eastern time, prime time. It's going to be exciting.
All right. Tune in October 2nd, guys. Thank you both so much, Ryan and Jared, for sharing your insights and your stories with us today. It's clear that whether you're flipping cabins or helping businesses rise above the competition, the challenges and drama are all part of the journey. And for our viewers and listeners, don't forget to tune in to Cabin Wars to see the action unfold, and keep an eye on Jared's work with Acquire Marketing, and as he helps all these blue-collar businesses tell their unique stories. Until next time, stay hydrated and keep the heart in your hustle. You're listening to A Moment of Zen right here on 710 WOR, the voice of New York, iHeartRadio. That was the Hydration with Heart segment, brought to you by Once Upon a Coconut in collaboration with the Dream Machine Foundation. Head to cabinwarstv.com or check them out all over the gram at Cabin Wars TV and at Ryan Enk and at Jared.Emerick. You're listening to A Moment of Zen right here on 710 WOR, the voice of New York, iHeartRadio. We'll be right back after this.
A Moment of Zen is brought to you by Once Upon a Coconut.
Discover the refreshing taste of 100% pure coconut water that actually tastes great. Naturally sweet with no artificial flavors or added sugar. It's packed with electrolytes to keep you hydrated throughout your day. And with 10% of profits going to charity, every sip makes a difference. Pure taste, pure goodness. Experience nature's Gatorade. Visit Once Upon a Coconut or naturesgatorade.com.